I don't think our business service offering would be as user-friendly and feature-rich and infrastructure strong as it is now if we hadn't gone with OneGrid.
Oh, that's such a compliment. Thank you.
Is Michelle Langman. I am the Business Development Manager at E2 Solutions, and we have two main products called My CPD and My Membership, and we have been using OneGrid for a number of years now and are very happy.
All right, so Michelle, can you tell us a little bit more about the business, please?
So we are a niche software development company. We have two main products on the market at the moment. They are called My Membership and My CPD. They provide membership management and continuous professional development software solutions to any organization that has members. So we mainly deal with SAQA, who is the South African Qualifications Authority in South Africa. They register professional bodies who then have members. Sometimes it's mandatory to be a member of an association. Other times associations will form just so that members in a particular industry have someone to come to get training, to get a designation, to ask questions. So we offer those professional bodies a software solution that allows them to manage their members online, basically. And it comes with designation management, online training, a CPD offering, and basically anything you would need to manage your association and your members all online.
Fantastic. And can you tell us why the business was started?
So our managing director, his name is George Dempster. He started the company 20 years ago with two surgeons. They are Chris Joseph and Martin Gill. They both still practice, one at Morningside and one at Fourways Life. And they are actually all three still the main shareholders of the company. So the reason that they started it was that 20 years ago, they felt there was a need to create an online community where doctors in a specific field could access information online. They could ask each other questions. So it was basically an online medical community that we have then developed over the past 20 years. And it now includes a lot more functionality and is a lot more feature rich. And obviously not just geared to the medical industry, but to any industry where you have members.
Okay, fantastic. And then just in terms of the challenges that you faced when the business was started, could you list a few of those?
Sure. So obviously 20 years ago, servers and being online and things like that wasn't as modern and must have as it is now. So we did find that back when we started, the cost of being online, meaning needing servers, needing IT, needing specialized subject matter experts in areas, the cost was extremely high. We also found that the speed and space available on the servers that we were using 20 years ago was obviously very limiting, whereas now it's a lot more modern, there's a lot more availability, we can do a lot more with our IT infrastructure and things like that. So that was quite a big challenge for us starting the business 20 years ago. Obviously now no longer a challenge, especially being with OneGrid.
Well, that's good to hear. And just in terms of so you've mentioned those challenges now, but have those challenges, I mean, you've said that they've been resolved, but do you ever foresee them coming in the future again? And obviously we've seen now that the pandemic that we're facing with COVID and the lockdown in South Africa, do you think that any of these challenges would arise again? And then maybe you can also just share what challenges you have faced as a company in terms of COVID and the lockdown.
Sure. So I think in terms of the challenges that we faced 20 years ago with servers, we don't foresee it happening anytime soon. Obviously, being with OneGrid, the cost of having servers has gone down a lot, and we have a lot more tools and functionality and offering from OneGrid to support our business now and in the years to come. So we're obviously very happy with that. And then just in terms of COVID and the lockdown, a lot of companies, I think, had the challenge of going immediately into remote working. So they were in an office premises and they now have to work from home. We actually took the decision 2 years ago to move to remote working. So we sold our property that we had in Northcliffe. And everyone on the team started working remotely already from then. So we feel we've worked out all our teething issues in terms of remote working. Business has continued as usual for the team. And obviously, with children being at home, we did say to the team, because we do care about our staff, that, if you are struggling, just speak up. And anyone else on the team can then pick up the load and help you. So I also feel that financially we are in a stronger position now because companies have realized the value of an online community and having training online, access to courses online, anything to do with online has obviously now become, the now. So I do feel that as a business, we're in a stronger place. And then obviously, having a company such as OneGrid to back us up and keep our infrastructure in place does help a lot.
When did you move the business online?
Sure. So obviously being an online company, our offerings have always been online. But with us having sold our office property about 2 years ago and taking the decision to have everyone work remotely, we started the remote online working side of our business 2 years ago. And we found it works very well. Not everyone fits into the 9 to 5. So our philosophy has kind of always been, as long as you get the work that you need to get done, we don't really mind when you're working. If it's 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon, it's completely up to you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think people also are able to find balance in that sort of environment. It opens them up to do things that they could potentially not do if they're in an office 9 to 5. I know just in my personal capacity as well, like with appointments and that, most places are, they operate 9 to 5. And then, if you have to actually go out and do those things, it requires you to then work those hours back in later or take leave to do those things. So I think it's quite nice to have that flexibility of the remote work. And I definitely think it's something that we're going to see being incorporated into a lot of businesses in South Africa after COVID.
Yeah, I also feel that COVID kind of just pushed companies to the inevitable.
Yeah.
So we were always going to have more of a remote working from home environment globally.
Yeah.
And then obviously just those companies that maybe were a bit scared or weren't sure how to take the next step for remote working, COVID's kind of just pushed them to have to do it.
Yeah, 100%. And then just in terms of people starting their own businesses. So we've seen, with COVID, particularly a lot of businesses have been struggling and a lot of people have been retrenched, which has actually in turn allowed people to become entrepreneurs. And we've seen quite a few people start new businesses. I mean, I myself know as well, a few of my friends have decided to start their own business. And I just thought maybe you guys could share what advice you would give people that would want to start their own business.
Sure. So obviously being a member-based organization where our solutions are very member management based, our 5 main topics that we always like to discuss with clients whenever they are starting a professional body or association or community, whichever word you like to associate with the business. We always talk about the 5 C's, and that's community, content, control, cost, and communication. So with that, we just say if you can get those 5 in place, you'll probably have a very good business plan straight off the bat. And basically what that is we say define your community, being your target market. Make sure that you appeal to one very niche specific community, and understand your target market, understand what it is that they want, who they are, what they look like, that kind of thing. We then talk about content, being what do you intend sharing with this specific target market or community. So is it going to be online courses in a specific area or industry? Is it going to be giving them access to high profile people in that industry, such as professors or academics or exco members, that kind of thing. We then talk about communication, being how do you intend communicating with them? Will it be over email? Will it be via Zoom? Will it be articles, blog posts, a Facebook page? It's really important to decide how you're going to communicate with them from the get-go, because that will just give you a good foundation going forward of how you then share the content to that specific community. We then talk about control. So obviously control measures that you can put in place. For example, if you only want to share content to a very specific community, you would want to put some kind of controls in place so that not everyone can access the content. So for example, on Facebook, you can make it not public and approve your members beforehand. Or for example, on our software, there's a sign-up process. You would then fill in your basic details. If the admin approves you, you get sent a username and password to log in and access that community and that community's specific content. And then obviously number 5, the last one being the main one that a lot of people don't get right from the beginning, is cost. We always say that you should plan your business model and how you're going to get your community to pay. So is it going to be free, so you'll just share the content? Is it going to be sponsored? So are you maybe going to get a large company to sponsor the content that's then published to your community? Or are you going to have the members themselves pay? And obviously always considering how will you get them to pay? Is it going to be by EFT, debit order? We always suggest online payment. It's obviously very easy. And then if you use our system, all integrated, they register, they pay online, they get their invoice, they get access to the content. And it just makes it easier for you from the get-go to set that business up.
And what made you decide to join with OneGrid?
Yeah, so we obviously heard about OneGrid many years ago. I only joined the company in 2018, and we were already using OneGrid at that stage. So I did have to ask some of the veterans of the company how exactly we came about using OneGrid. But yeah, apparently when we were looking to move server companies many years ago, there were two main things that we were looking for. One was a reasonable price, because obviously what we were paying was quite high, and it was quite taxing on us to have that cost built in. And then we were looking for a business partner. We wanted someone who we could see potentially would not just offer us, here's your server, take it if you can't use it, or you have issues, or you have questions about where it's stored, how people access it, that kind of thing. Shame, we can't help you. So it was really important that we got cost in place and someone who would view us as a business partner and not just as potential money bags, I guess. So that was quite important for us. So we came about finding OneGrid, and we've been extremely happy. Obviously not just the professional service that we receive, but the additional add-ons that we've been getting that come with having partnered with OneGrid. So for example, we recently took out the website builder license with you guys, where it's kind of like a drop and drag functionality. People can create their website, they can then log in, and it's like editing a Word document. You just change the image, you edit, the text that's there. You don't need any HTML skills whatsoever, which was an issue with our previous website builder. Okay. So we've really enjoyed launching that with our current clients. We've been able to move them over to the website builder and give them basic training. And they are now able to maintain their websites completely themselves, which has reduced our support calls as well. So that's been nice. It means we can focus on what we are meant to be an expert in, which is membership management software. And we haven't had to get dragged down into support calls for, please change this image on my website, or I need this Exco member name or title changed, and that kind of thing. So from a website builder side of things, that's really helped us a lot. And then obviously on the server side, we've taken out a number of servers on the enterprise side and the managed server side, as well as virtual hosting environments. And it's been a major benefit to us. It's broadened our service offering to our customers, and we're able to offer them options that fit their needs and not just one, sorry, this is all we have to offer you. And then just in general, the support team at OneGrid have been really great. They always answer our questions. They're always quick to answer our questions. They don't mind spending time explaining server setups and complicated matters and actions like that with us. So we've been really happy with the guidance and support that we've gotten. And I don't think our business service offering would be as user-friendly and feature-rich and infrastructure strong as it is now if we hadn't gone with OneGrid.
Oh, that's such a compliment. Thank you. I'm definitely going to pass that on to the CEO. He'll be happy to hear that. And I think what's important that you noted as well, so aside from the being able to provide you with a diverse product portfolio, we're also looking at, the educational aspect. So you said we're willing to, educate and provide you that extra information when needed, not kind of just selling you the product and letting you, do your thing or manage it on your own. We're actually guiding you along the way. So that's one of the things that we're trying to promote the most at the moment. And I'm really happy to hear that from a customer. And I really thank you for your support, and I'm really glad to hear, that it's beneficial and that we're providing people with solutions, and in turn you're providing your clients and your customers with solutions. So you mentioned with the website builder that you actually allow some of your customers to manage the sites themselves. How do they find that? I'm not sure if you deal directly with that, but how do you find that they manage that side of things?
Yeah, so they've been really happy. Obviously, we have had to explain from the get-go, moving from the HTML type templates that they used to have. There were a few more functions, if that's what you want to call it, that were available on that. Obviously, such as clicking and then on a tab and then having sub-tabs under that and not just a drop down. Because we've only taken out the basic website builder package. But it's actually worked out really well because with that one small limitation, I don't even call it a con, I call it a limitation, it's helped clients rethink their websites. Because before we had where they would click on a top tab and they'd then have 50 other sub tabs going on. And there was so much information on their websites that they didn't need that sub navigation going on. So moving them over has helped us clean up their websites. It's helped them think about their website structure to make it a lot more straightforward and a bit neater. And then obviously on the maintenance side of things, they log into the back end, and changing or replacing images or changing and editing text has been really easy. And then there's obviously also the option to add already preset layouts, which a lot of our clients have loved, sometimes to their detriment, because they now add 1 million of these layouts and publish, and it's got that I think it's Latin text still in there, and we're like, no, you need to update that first. But at least it shows you that they're using it and they're enjoying it, and they're not just asking us to do it. They're actually going in, they're doing it themselves. They've taken full control of their content, basically, for their public website.
Oh, that's amazing to hear, though. It's always good to direct people to do that, to take that initiative to try and test things out themselves.